Our roll call, we're all here, Lou's not making it.
Lou will not make it. He did have an injury occur, and he will probably be out at least till the end of the month. He is recovering, but he is recovering slowly. So I did ask him for permission to let everybody know that that's the only reason that he hasn't been attending, is because of the injury.
Okay, then additions to the agenda.
Now,
Looks like we have personnel.
5 of them in personnel.
Okay, and make a motion that we adopt the agenda.
Second.
A second by Cheryl. Any further discussion? I made the motion.
Oh, you made motion, I'm sorry.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Okay, District 741 is proud of McDonald's for providing staff with a breakfast on August 27th.
This is the second year in a row that they've made that available to staff. It's a nice deal for them.
Okay, now we're at public comment. So do we have anybody here for public comment? Seeing nobody here, we will move on. Approve and correct minutes from the August 26, 2014 board meeting.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Deb.
Second.
We have a second by Mark. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed say no. Okay. Consent agenda. Review and consider approval of the following non-athletic assignments for the 2014-15 school year.
At the time that we had approved the previous non-athletic assignments, we did not have somebody that would be doing that, so now we do.
So have a motion by David, a second by Cheryl. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Okay, we have business. With all of our business, just a reminder for everybody here, we have public comment in that also. So review and consider, number one, review and consider approval of policy 514, bullying prohibition policy.
Yeah, the only thing that I've done is clean up the other one, make a clear copy for you. No other changes were made. I did not get any calls from any board members with concerns about the policy. So at this point, certainly it's up to the board. They can certainly table it and do the second reading and do a third reading next time, or I think you could certainly approve the policy tonight if you wish.
I'll make a motion to approve. A motion by David to approve, a second by Deb. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. We do have public comment. Anybody have some comments in the bullying policy?
The bullying policy again was built off the NSBA policy. The only piece that we did was clarify the one piece, and that it was 3 days to do the investigation. School days, I think, was the only piece that we added.
And the municipal school board of policy was built off of state requirements.
Yes, correct.
So, okay. Number two, review and discuss superintendent's goals for 2014-15.
You've had an opportunity to read those. They were in your packet. The 5 goals that I did set, one was to provide information to the community concerning the facilities projects, and those are the types of things that I'll be doing with that. The second goal is to develop a district strategic plan. We talked about that. I'd like to accomplish that this year, which then also ties into number 4, which is the world's best workforce. The new mandates for that, I think, will work very well into the strategic planning, and these are things that I do need to get accomplished. I would like to visit each staff member's classroom at least once during the year. I would like to bring board members, at least a couple board members along when we do that, or even separately. Just for that, that was one of the things that we had talked about from the MSBA conference that we went to. I think it'd be a great thing, just to go in, step in the classroom, spend about 10 minutes looking at the wonderful things our teachers are doing and our staff members are doing, and then just do that throughout the year. But my goal is to get in each classroom at least once for the year. And then the Affordable Care Act continues to be a journey. They continue to change things, and we're going to need to continue to stay on that. So that would be my 5th goal then. This is the first reading, no action is required. I'm certainly looking for input either tonight or anytime after the meeting.
I thought it looked pretty good and manageable.
I was glad to see that number 3 put in there, because that,
I've talked,
especially with some new board members, or even some of us that have been around for a long time, it's always good to get into see the new stuff that the teachers are doing. It'll amaze you.
and I talked about that for 2 years, haven't been able to do it, so I thought make a goal that would push me a little harder.
So just like any other goals that we've been pushing for the last couple of years, how are we gonna measure them? And what kind of feedback are we gonna be getting to those?
Well, for the community input, certainly I'll be keeping track of the times that I get into areas to present and the information I put together. For instance, I know that I've already presented one time to one group, so that's very easy to take care of that. As far as the strategic plan, the final goal would be that you have a new strategic plan. I think the other one ends this school year, but it's a good time to start the new one, so that when that one expires, you can start the other one. As far as visiting classrooms, I'll just log it. The classrooms that I get to, we'll keep track of that. World's Best Workforce Plan, again, is, that particular one will be, the end result will be the plan. And we'll keep the board informed about that as we go through that. And as far as the Affordable Health Care Act, that's a little tougher. It's just really me keeping up on the information. But the office staff and I work a lot on just keeping us in compliance. I guess
So
I'll
is there
fail
like
if we go out of
classes that you can
compliance.
go to, or is it?
There's-
How are you gonna obtain that? I mean, is it?
There's a number of workshops that we've attended over the last year. There will be a few more that come up as the changes occur, and then also just pamphlets that we get with the updates. So it's really something I can certainly log the times that we keep track of it in our office, but it's really about compliance.
But it'd be nice then when you come back after we adopt whatever the final goals are, then after, 3 months or 4 months, whatever you think.
You want an update?
We should have an update, and we should have the same plan, and then we should have in red or something of what has been accomplished, so that we know what has been accomplished, how the goals are being achieved.
Got it?
Anybody else? Okay, at this point, we should move on.
Yep.
Or,
You just bring it back as long as it's just, it's not for vote today, it's first reading, so yeah.
okay, review and discuss, number 3, review and I'll back up, public comment on the superintendent's goals. I'm assuming most everybody probably got a copy up there?
Sure.
Yeah, public comment. Okay, review and discuss district goals for 2014-15.
Now, I did tweak these a little bit, they're virtually the same goals. Part of the piece now is that this is tied very much into the strategic plan. So I didn't want to spend a lot of time on this because the new strategic plan itself will help us develop the new one. So I do expect this year to come back with a new plan that is based on our strategic plan. So this will most likely change as this year goes on, or will be tweaked as the year goes on. Because again, the strategic plan and this are very much hand in hand with each other.
So then my question would be, when are we going to have the strategic plan in place that we can even have a goals that can be attainable?
I would say that I'm a little bit busy right now just putting together the facility piece.
Yeah.
Right after that gets done, then you'll see much more update, and I'll update the board as I go through. I need to put a community, probably a planning team together first, and I think I have a group of people who work with our curriculum that I'd like to get involved with that. I'll certainly ask a board member to be involved in that too. We'll put a plan together on how to establish it. I am a little reluctant to just have somebody come in and do it just because of the cost. Our budget, it'd be hard for me to spend $9,000, that was one of the costs, or even $6,000. I do have another superintendent who has gone through the process that will do it for little cost. And he's probably, I'd like to put the committee together first to have that discussion on whether we want to go in a different direction or not before we make that decision.
And we're not necessarily, to say these are still achievable goals. These are things that still need to be done, whether they are completely dovetailed with the new strategic plan. These are things that will happen and are happening, the collection of data and stuff like that, so that we can keep on track, we can make sure that the kids are staying on track.
Correct, and I understand that, but we still, if we're looking at these being obtained by a strategic plan that has yet not been accomplished, how can we say that these are going to be the goals that we're going to be accomplishing?
Well, my dilemma was this, was to not bring any goals before the board and wait till the strategic plan. I just felt that that was going a little bit too far down the road. I think these plans, there will be pieces of all these plans in the new strategic plan. I don't see how there would be. So I thought this would be a good starting point for us to go. I don't think there's anything wrong with coming back to the board with an updated piece that is built upon community consensus and a strategic plan. But I think that these are still solid goals that we're all working on. We're working on the piece as far as additional learning opportunities. We're working on improving communications. We're working on increasing student achievement and the operating of an efficient budget. Those are all things that are in the process and we're working on at this time.
Right.
So I think we're still all right, but again, it was either leave them till further than I would want, because one of the things that I don't think I've done a great job on is getting these things out fast enough at the beginning of the year. So I would like to at least start with these and then change and adapt it as we need to.
I think that's the key word is that we're adopting this, but we're adapting it. It's a work in process, so it's not concrete.
The strategic group will come out and say this is what they're going to be in. There's no doubt that these things will still be pieces of it.
No, and I agree. A lot of these things have been going on even behind the scenes, even without a strategic plan or a goal.
Our staff development committee certainly looks at these things.
Right.
One of the things that I hope to put in place once the strategic plan gets developed is a way of having a community group get together once a year and revisit these so that it's a specific group, a curriculum group, for instance, or a community group that will update these every year. So
and it would be nice to have it started at the beginning of the school year instead of...
Yes. That's why I didn't want to wait at least for this piece until I get the strategic plan going.
Relative to hiring somebody, I'm not on that page at all. I think what you're doing is right.
It's
Take
money.
our time, because we go out and we hire somebody and we get a strategic plan, everybody asks if you got one, you don't got one, and it's sitting on some shelf back there that we never look at again because we did the job. This is a real important thing for us to decide on the direction that we want to go, putting together a group that meets annually, or maybe even more often than that, to see if we're achieving those things. It's how do we direct ourselves to, in my mind, I hope it develops into growth as time goes on. And I think I'd be a little in favor of holding off to make sure we're doing it ourselves rather than any other direction. So I think it's going the right direction on that.
I would certainly like to get started even before the end of October. It's just that I just have a couple of the big things I'm working on right now.
Okay, any other discussion on that? Okay, we're gonna go then to personnel. Oh, we have district goals. Public comment on that one. One area that I'm not always the best on is to remember the public comment for every one of those. I'll figure it out someday. Okay.
Bruce,
Yep.
who are the strategic planning committee? Who's on there?
Nobody's on there right now. It was done a number of years ago. The end result of the current strategic plan, I think, was to end 14-15. I think that's what the one was stand, and then it's just a natural time to start the new one. I'll certainly look at putting some community members together. We do have a curriculum council right now. That might be a good place for me to start, and then build upon that. You don't want the committee so big that sometimes big committees can't get everything done. But it's really about having a really dedicated small group, then that gets a lot more people involved in how we gather our data. For these types of things, if you make it too much of an ongoing thing, then you lose interest. You might have a lot of people at the first meeting, big community meeting, but then if you keep stretching it out, the numbers continue to dwindle, is my experience with it. So we're going to want to really, once we start, we're going to want to do it fast. so that the people that are doing it can commit to a certain amount, but they know that this is their commitment, and then they move on.
Other questions? Okay, we will then move to personnel. Number 1, review and consider approval of changing Mike Gunther's assignment from .656 FTE to .828 FTE effective the 2014-15 school year.
If the board remembers, we reduced him fees, and it was contingent upon a couple things. So I'll give you kind of an update on this one. He has completed everything for Project Lead the Way. That is what's bringing him up to this FTE. Now, that's not full-time yet. At this particular time, he still has some requirements to finish for one of his certifications. But I will tell you, I've gotten emails from his professors and stuff. There were some things. It all sounds great, but if a college doesn't offer what you need to have offered, that makes it real problematic. He is in the process of completing everything. I have a verification on that. So we're waiting for a variance to come through. I've asked the state for a variance until he completes his stuff, knowing that he's working on it right now. But until he completes that variance, I won't add those times back. He is right now subbing in those areas because he doesn't have the necessary requirement for that one class. Once he gets that variance, then I'll come back to the board and I'll say he now has the variance for the 1 year. I expect he will get everything done by the first semester of college, or this current college semester. But we did have a long discussion. I think he's working very hard to get his certification completed. I just think the timing and the classes that he needed just didn't fall into sync to get it done all over the summer. And I've certainly seen that happen a number of times. I believe this to be accurate, so we're going to give him a little bit more time because he's working hard on it. For the second piece. This one, he's completed everything for Project Lead the Way. So I'd certainly recommend that we add that FTE back to him.
Okay, I have a motion by Deb, a second by Kella. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Number 2, review and consider approval to hire Audra, is that pronounced right? Audra Lura as an elementary interventionist for 6 hours per day for 5 days a week effective September 15, 2014.
I'll let Dave fill you in just a little bit about that position.
This is part of a grant.
I hate to
that-
do this to you, but could you come down and speak into that? Would you mind,
Or you have to get my voice.
I talked to a fair amount of people that listen to this at home, and they can hear what we're talking about. I think that makes it more complete. And I know you love to come down anyway.
This is part of, earlier this year, I talked about the grant that we got through the Department of Ed, through the West Central Ed District for an interventionist, and this person will be working primarily with the 4th and 5th grade, and then working her way down as her schedule sees when she's available. And she'll be doing interventions with math, reading, power half hour, social skills, things like that. It's brand new, it's a new position, and we're defining what that role is going to be. But it'll be another support person in there that we're getting all the funding from the state. So.
So move it. Any other questions before we get there? Okay, we have a motion by David, a second by Deb. Further discussion amongst the board? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Review and consider approval of resignation of Mariana Walter as a 3-hour per day food service employee effective September 12, 2014.
This particular piece fits into number 4. We had an opening for a para position, so she applied for that and was given that. So she needs to resign first, and then we'll hire her in the other position.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mark, a second by Cheryl. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Review and consider approval to hire Mariana Walter as a special education para for 6.5 hours per day for 4 days per week effective September 15th.
So moved.
A motion by Cheryl,
Second.
second by Kella. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Review and consider approval to hire Dell Anderson as a food service worker for 3 hours per day effective September 10th, 2014.
Do keep in mind with all these food services, just a matter of the domino effect. You know, we've moved people up, we've had resignations, so these aren't increasing any positions. All it is filling positions that we've lost.
So moved.
I have a motion by Deb, second by Cheryl. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Review and consider approval to hire Katie Wally, our current food service worker, for the 7-hour per day cook position vacated by Lori Nepson, effective September 11th, 2014. Kind of the same thing?
It is an absolute domino piece. It's, Lori was moved up to the head cook position, just made that opening.
So moved.
A motion by Kella, second by Cheryl. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Okay, then we're on informational reports. Lori, you're on first.
We kind of have a little bit of a show and tell today, and Bob didn't know this, but I'm going to ask for his help over there on the computer.
Okay, which one?
So, well, no, not that one first. If you could go to your email With being just a week into school, we've had a lot of exciting things happen. And as you know, one was our Project Lead the Way classes have just started, and I wanted to share a little bit about the first day. We started Friday. We had the big crime scene where we found Annie on the stage with not feeling so well. And so we have a picture.
Are you guys all okay with this, or do you want to move around?
There's a couple different, there'll be one other video too, but there's two. And I had the opportunity to watch the class, and it was very interesting. They came in, they had already done a diorama of how to process a crime scene. And so they walked into this crime scene with notebooks in hands, teams, tape measures, and some different things, and they just went in and started to collect their evidence. We'll get to that, but some of the things that are coming in that's going to be exciting as they process the information that they have is, it was kind of like Christmas in our science classroom. We've gotten our blood pressure gauges, and this little piece will allow us to hook it up to the computer. So one of the things Mr. Rasmussen was sharing with me today is they'll be able to, one of the labs is they put this on and they take their blood pressure and it shows on the computer, and then they do some different experiments like putting their hand in really cold ice water, and it shows how that changes their blood pressure and their heart rate and all of those things, and it'll map it out on the computer as they go. So bringing technology into the classroom is a huge part of this Project Lead the Way, and showing how it's integrated with science, so it'll be a great experience for our students. Also, this is a heart rate monitor that came in, and the kids will be using this as well, and it hooks up to the computer, and again they can regulate and check and do different types of experiments to show what's going on as they put themselves into different situations that's going to cause changes in their body dynamics. So if you look at the crime scene, it was real exciting to see the kids at work in their teams collecting the data. They don't know how Annie died. That is the question. That as they go through this year and analyzing the different body systems, they will take that data and try to come to a conclusion by May. So that's kind of the beginning of our class this year, so it's kind of exciting to see. Many of the students talked about it before and after the class, and kind of hearing it rumble, they're really excited. So I do thank the board for allowing us to bring this program into the building and hopefully looking at bringing the next step of it in the building next year. So that's been fun. Now I also have some other exciting news. If you could go to Google and pull up Minnesota We Day.
You're just gonna make me work.
I am. Yes, yes,
This
please
day you
do.
just showed us, we have a whole bunch of industry that put money up for this. Will you guys have scheduled something so they get to see what we're seeing?
Yep, we are in the process of putting together an invitation, and the date is September 24th, where
Okay.
we're going to have kind of an after-school, and all the businesses that have helped support us, and hopefully we'll be able to get more support, will be invited to come, and both Mr. Gunther and Mr. Rasmussen are going to be there to be able to share some of the things that we've done, and hopefully some pictures and things. Some real exciting news, we just got the news today. We had some community members that were walking last year, well, in October, November, and they said, you know, we have really good kids. Why haven't our kids participated in We Day? We Day is a huge global event that you have to be invited to. You have to write a grant, you have to provide service, etc. And Ms. Nevitt asked me about it, and I said, well, let's take a look, let's see what it is. And we put our heads together and went to Ms. Andrist. And if you remember the projects that she has done with our 10th graders and surviving high school and looking at bullying across the school, we submitted that. We're still working on our more global project, but we have been granted 25 tickets to the Minnesota We Fest, and you cannot buy tickets to this. And so to show you a little bit more about it, I would like if you can just hit the arrow, it'll talk about it. And you may want to put up the volume.
We don't have that on, Lori. We didn't know you were planning videos.
Oh, sorry.
To turn the system on beforehand.
Oh, okay. Well, if you can see the pictures, but I would say if you just Google tonight, Minnesota We Day. That's not hooked up to the speakers.
Our system, yes.
Yep, I just got notified, it was like 5 o'clock today, that we received the tickets. So I was really excited. To be even considered, you have to have a local community project, and then you have to have a global project that your students will put together, carry out, have and results for. And since they really thought our local project was so phenomenal, and we were still working on our global project, they invited us to participate. So this is an event that is very selective, and we are very excited and honored to be part of. So, but if it's We Fest, We Day Minnesota.
Yeah, it looks like it's
I'll
just
know that for next time. It's just-
www.weday.com.
So please, I encourage you to take a look. Our kids are great kids, and to be invited down to this is a pretty amazing honor. So
Lori, what was our local project?
our local project is, if you may have been, our 10th grade surviving high school project, where our students go through how to communicate with each other, and then we have the retreat, etc. And we have older kids that have done it, are the leaders for that. And then also the anti-bullying initiatives that we have done throughout the year. That was our local project together. So, so with that, those are some of the big events. School, we're off and running. Students are scheduled into classes. Lots of interesting things going on. Gearing up for the sports seasons, and homecoming is right around the corner. We'll have coordination on Monday, And then volleyball games on Tuesday and the football game on Friday and cross-country meet on Thursday, I believe it is. So it's been really busy between starting up the year and homecoming right around the corner. If you have any questions. All right, thank you.
Thank you. And you got those, is there, there's a lot more than just that?
Yes,
That's just one
there
set, and you got a
is.
series, so there's plenty of kids that are getting their actual hands onto that, right?
Yes, there's enough for each groups of 3 about.
Actually, for some of this stuff, it's partners, so they'll be working in partners and they'll be able to see their own heart rate and EKG and stuff like that, so.
Oh, yeah.
Are you requiring you guys to run a challenge with that?
Be a good time.
Okay, next is our elementary school principal.
Back. Well, I don't have a whole lot of going on. We did start the school year. It got off to a real smooth start, and the biggest thing is making sure we get kids on the right bus and watch our kindergarten students come in on the first day, and it's always, the parents are always more emotional than the kids are, but they're resilient and they've done a great job adjusting. We have a lot of action going on at the school with our school-age daycare, and students are being dropped off around 6 in the morning, and they're there until 6 or 6:30 at night, and it's been a really, really great program for us. So we thank Community Ed and the community members who were behind getting that going again. It really makes a big difference. They have a homework help time after school, and they're going to be using the lab across the hall and things like that, so we're really proud of that. On September 19th, we plan on walking over to the all-school pep fest at the high school, weather permitting, hopefully. It's really difficult to line up 10 or 11 buses, so we're hoping that the weather is good enough that we can walk over and enjoy that. Any questions for me?
Thank you. Okay, Matt, the community education.
Kind of doing double duty, so I'll go from up here. I'm close to the mic. David talked a little bit about our pause program. We've been in a blur the last 2 months. 2 months ago, we didn't know if we would even have enough kids for the pause, and we took our 52nd child this week.
Wow.
So we are averaging over 25 kids a day after school, over 12 a day during the school day, or during the morning before school. And the room turned out really well. You have to stop over there, and we've got a pause diner theme, and I'll get to maybe bring some pictures to the next meeting. So that's going really well. We also benefited from the Reading Corps. A lot of the Reading Corps members, employees, they get paid for up to 40 hours a week, and they have open hours. So we have actual Reading Corps members, 3 of them working in our pause program, and they're reading to kids, and they're helping with homework help, and it's just fantastic. So our site leaders are really doing a good job and trying to get through all of our little bumps, just getting things going, but it's been good. It's been quite a whirlwind. So, and during this time too, we just changed over our entire registration program to match up with getting the lunch accounts going and facility scheduling. So it's been kind of crazy, but it's good. Jonah and I are working on our referendum website. I hope to have that out soon. Might be asking some of you guys to give little video clips and information on there, but that website will be designed to give as much information to the public as possible about the upcoming vote. So, other than that, just all of our fall programs are going well, and things are rocking and rolling. So, any questions?
Matt, just an update on the lunch piece. I think we're doing some testing on that now.
Yep, we got the clearance. They had to do some special programming for our district for how it worked, and they gave us the clearance, and we're asking some staff members to try their lunch accounts to put some money on it before we go live to the public. So it took a little bit longer than we thought. We wanted to get it out there, but they did need some special programming for our district to make it customized for us. So hopefully by the end of the week, that should be all up and live too.
Hey, is that a service that you're buying from somebody?
Yeah, that is a module from a software company, yep. They provide the lunch account, or the app gateway, our facility usage, our class registration, and our school-age childcare programs. So they all talk to each other. So.
Okay.
And it's something I'll certainly be updating the board on that as it gets rolled out. Right now, what we've done is we've paid for the cost out of our budget for that, and we're not going to charge any additional for the community members who use that service. But I will be updating the board on what that cost looks like, because every transaction will cost us so much. But at least to roll it out and start, we thought this would be the better way to do it.
Okay. Max.
Max, I am guessing, is at that volleyball game.
Okay. Then the next would be you, young man.
Just a few things. I brought up the transportation contract at the last meeting. No changes at this particular point. They're still looking at it on the pieces that we presented them with some information. So at this point, we're just waiting for them to get back to us. Talked a little bit about the lunch count, so I've updated you on that. I will be bringing up and giving you a call as far as some walkthroughs. What I'm going to try to do is set a date to get into the classrooms, and then maybe take a half an hour to 45 minutes and walk through a certain area of the building, and then I'll ask one or two board members to accompany me on that, or separately, so I'll be doing that. Facility information, I had started to present information again. As you know, my purpose is to present information to the public so that they can make informed decisions. I presented to the Lions Club at this point. Second article that I've written is coming out in tomorrow's paper. Also have an informational meeting tomorrow, I believe at 7 o'clock, here in the seminar room. So I'm going to ask a couple board members to be there, if possible. So if I have any volunteers for that. Kayla and Deb, that'll work. And I'll send out an email. I'm just going to be looking for, I'd like to have one or two board members at each one of those meetings. And the meeting dates that I've set are Wednesday, September 10th, that's tomorrow at 7 p.m. They're all in the seminar room. Thursday, September 18th at 5 p.m. Monday, September 22nd, 6:30 p.m. And then Wednesday, October 1st at 3 p.m. I'll certainly add more meetings if we feel that it's necessary, but I'll also be going to organizations and anybody that virtually wants me to talk about providing them with information. Again, the purpose is just to inform them so that when they get to the polls, they're informed voters. That's our main goal on that. Volleyball game tonight. Enrollment, we're up 2 students from what I projected. I would tell you that's cutting a lot closer than I would like, but we were pretty close. We're at 948 right now, and I think I projected 946. Although we are hoping that we're going to get a few more students coming in next week.
I just talked to a family with several children that are looking at moving to Paynesville.
That's what I have, unless the board has questions.
Yeah, I do. So we have a family looking at us. Do we have a presentation that we give them, a packet that we give them? How do we do that?
I
I
think
know that's kind of a blunt question, and I don't care if you answer it today, but there has to be some method of a presentation of our school when somebody's coming to see us.
you and I have certainly had some discussion
We
about
had
that
lots of
particular
discussion
thing.
about it.
So certainly we're looking at adopting one of the videos that we had with some things, so we're looking at putting some things together now.
Perfect. Then how about the senior center?
Just need to, have not set up a meeting yet, but we're certainly going to look at setting up as many meetings as I can. So if the board has places you have a contact with, get a hold of them. As long as it works in my calendar, I will be there.
Okay, a concern I have is the seminar room's here, but for older folks that want to come here,
I
this is a pretty good hike.
Yeah, I typically go where they're at, so if they're there, I would just soon go. I presented last year at those places, and I'll present this year. It's much easier to go to them rather than have them come here.
So would you rather have us initiate the call?
If you have a contact, it would be nice for me if you would initiate the call and just give me either the contact piece or talk to Linda or myself and set it up during the time when I don't have a meeting, and I'm good to go.
Okay. And then when people are coming, it's kind of hard when the seminar room is fine, but if we have people attending, what if they don't know where it is? Are we gonna have some kind of we have a little something out in front that at least points them in the direction of where they're supposed to be?
I can certainly put some arrows out tomorrow.
I don't mean to make a
Point
big
in
deal
that
out of
direction.
it, but you'd certainly hate to have somebody show up and they're wondering around how to get to the meeting.
I think that we're a pretty friendly building, we have a lot of people in this building, I think all they'd have to do is ask somebody to get here, but I'll put up some arrows tomorrow from our main entrance to get here.
At facilities meetings, that happens sometimes, where people would wander for a while before they figured out where we were.
I'll put some arrows up tomorrow.
Just a thought, not a big deal, but it's just those little things that make it a little more comfortable. Okay, any other, just go ahead.
Oh, I have one thing I forgot, and this might be of interest to the board, is we do have 25 German students visiting our school this week. They are being hosted by our students' family. They are from our sister school in Ulm. They come every 2 years and stay with our students as host families for about 2 weeks. And then we, like Mr. Wilkie had taken our students over to their city and traveled that area as well. So you will see them at the volleyball game and at the football game and around the building. And we do appreciate all the families that are hosting these students. They are having a really good time experiencing America.
I think they're taking a road trip tomorrow, right? Or
They
on
are
Friday.
taking a road trip. They are going to be going to the Science Museum, to a Twins game. Stonegate Lodge is having them out for kind of a day out just at the resort with their host students and them and their families. So they've got a whole agenda for the day, as well as attending some classes and things with their students. So
Very good. Anything else from the board? Entertain a motion to adjourn? So moved. A motion by Mark,
Second.
second by Deb. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no.